Hey guys, today is day 13 of Yoga Teacher Training, and we had a beginner's class today, and it was just to show us what to do differently and the different setup and sequence, and also the modifications for a beginner's class. So a lot of times in beginner's class we don't do a chaturanga or upward dog or inversions. And it's because we are still learning the foundation of poses, and those ones are a little bit more strenuous on the body, and for a beginner those might be too difficult. Often we want people to start at beginner's level just to get a feel for the poses and the proper alignment, and then they can kind of progress from there. So also beginner's class is about the breath. So bringing that breath awareness and matching it to your movement and learning in class when to breathe, so when you're coming up, you take an inhale, when you're going down, you take an exhale, stuff like that. And you want to have a really well-balanced class for beginners, because, and this goes for any class really, but especially for beginners, because if you have too many poses that are standing poses and someone has an issue with their leg or ankle or something and the standing poses are a bit much for them, then you want to have a well-balanced class so that you have some that are seated, some on your back, and some standing, so that it's really well balanced, so everyone will get a chance to be up and seated and on the back and twisting for that reason. Also, you want to start kind of like in baby steps by starting out with really simple basic postures, poses, because if you work too hard and you start out, with super hard poses and then you have to back down because you realize the class is having a hard time, then they're going to notice that. And when you take it down a notch, they're going to think, oh, we're not doing that well. They're going to get discouraged and not as happy. So you want to work your way up. And so simple to harder. Also, there's also something called a sun salute C, which is preparing the body for sun salute A and B, the Surya Namaskar. And those are preps or warm-ups for class. But sometimes in a Surya A, and you're coming to chaturangas, or it's a lot of movement, or the fierce pose, which used to be called chair pose, it might be too much for beginners. So a Surya Namaskar C is something that you kind of come up with, and you can fit it into any type of class. And you can make it a little bit easier. You could do a half sun salute and just do a high lunge or a low lunge, something like that, instead of doing a full sun salute. Also, not holding poses for too long, because people are still finding their balance, still figuring out the alignment, and if it gets to be holding it too long and they get frustrated, they're not going to want to come back to your class. So if you start seeing people looking around the room, okay, I gotta get them out of this pose because they're losing their focus. Being constantly aware of students and how their bodies are and their tension is really good. Also, giving one balanced pose in every class is very beneficial. People want to work on their balance, and that gets them set up and prepping them for other harder poses. So yeah, we went over the beginners classes and how to structure them. We took a 2-3 hour beginners class as well, and it was great. So see you guys tomorrow.